Here we are on Living It Up, Making Life Juicy. Today I'm Ingrid Guthrie. No, every day I'm Ingrid Guthrie, but today my special guest is Helena Dominic, who is a very cool artist. And I've never had an artist on the show today, so I'm excited about this and I'm excited about the work that she does. Meet Helena Dominic.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. She's very prolific. Look at this. So before we go into what everything is here, tell me about how you got into all of this.
How did I get into art?
Yes.
Well, it was something that I've always done since childhood. I've always been interested in art, and I was always making and drawing little things when I was a child, and it just was sort of a natural thing that progressed, as I went through high school, and it just was obvious I was going to go to school for art.
Super. So now you're a professor.
Yes.
And where do you profess?
I profess at Cheney University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Which is in Cheney. People are sometimes not sure of where that is. It's sort of between Chadsford and Westchester.
Yes. Yes. It has a lovely campus. And what do you teach there?
I teach art history. I teach African art. I teach watercolor. Sometimes I teach drawing. I teach Egyptian art.
Ooh.
So I have a whole range of things.
Can I come and take one of those?
Oh, absolutely. We'd love to have you.
Oh, I'm sure. I can be quite disruptive. No. So let's start with your, I'm just going to move this back.
Okay.
Oh, you're also Helena Dominic Art on Facebook.
Yes.
And so I follow her, of course, and she does the Fellowship of the Fool tarot card pulls every day, right?
Yes.
Tell us about this deck.
Okay. Well, the deck, also you can find if you have Android or iPhone, there's also an app.
No way.
Yeah.
I so want that.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. So look for it. The Fellowship of the Fool is, it's called the Fellowship of the Fool because it's kind of a reflection of my world. I know every person who is in the deck. So they're friends, family members, colleagues, former students, people in my world. And I also wanted to reflect, a lot of decks have, it's got sort of people in medieval costume because that's what I enjoy and going to the Ren Fair, but I wanted to give it
Ren Fair.
A more 21st century American feel because, we don't have kings and queens in America. So I changed some of the names of the cards. So they reflect actually the medieval craftsmen's guilds and the levels that people could achieve. So, so pages are apprentices, and
I love it.
knights are journeymen, and queens are masters, and then kings are adepts.
I love it.
So thank you.
Wow,
Yeah.
and that's Egyptian in itself, too.
It's actually, that's a misconception.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm happy to talk. I can talk about tarot for hours. I could talk about tarot for hours, so tell me to stop if you want me to.
No, let's do a pull for the show.
Oh, okay. Let's do a pull for the show. Okay. Then in that case, I'm going to give them to you to shuffle.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay. Can I just do this?
Any old way.
Any old way.
Any old way.
Good at this.
It's
Obviously,
okay. You don't have to. You don't
painful.
have to be a Las Vegas, style shuffler. Yeah.
And I like the back of these cards.
thank
if you.
you.
Can see the back as well. Look at that.
Yeah, kind of
Oops, there's a
an
glare.
Arabic rug sort of.
I love it. All right. Okay. So here we go. That's good.
Okay. So the card we have is the Sun, which is a great card. It is a card of joy and happiness, and it's what you want to see.
I'm into raw.
So, yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, yay.
Yay,
That's a
right?
very good card to get
Perfect.
for us. Yes.
Good.
For the show. Yes.
I love it. Okay.
you.
Yeah. And then, so we'll go to this deck a little bit, in a little
Okay.
bit. Explain this beauty.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is, I started
Here,
doing.
Let me, where are we? Here we go.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, here we are. Okay. Yeah, look at that.
This is part of, I make these little shrines, in which you can
Yes.
see there's one over here as well, or one over here by
here.
me,
Yeah.
and one over there. And they are something that's, I always wanted to create shrines because I was a good Catholic girl growing up.
Okay.
And I always loved the idea of the shrines in the churches and how they could open and close, and they
Yes.
had doors, and I haven't quite gotten to doors yet, but these are more like goddess shrines. And
Awesome.
thank you, yeah. And I take all kinds of materials and use them. I'm fond of things like cardboard boxes and funny, like these actually I think came from a box holding some kind of computer equipment that I nabbed at school.
Oh, all right, all right.
And I just put them together, and and I don't know that it represents a particular goddess or not. It just kind of, as I feel inspired, I just kind of dive in and go for it. And frequently I make them along with my students when we're in our African art class. I teach a portion of the class where we're making African masks, and the material we use is called rigid wrap, which you can see a little bit of on the back of this. It's in the olden days when you broke your arm or your leg, you would get a cast made out of this stuff, and sculptors got their hands on it because it's a great material. It takes the shape of whatever you apply it to. So we use that when we make the masks, and a lot of times when I'm showing them how to use the material, I do a demonstration, and there it is.
I love it.
Oh,
So
thank you.
explain this one to me,
Okay, well.
because it's so feminine.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, it's kind of goddess oriented and towards the ocean, all of the little cowrie shells around it. And a lot of times people come to temples to make offerings, and I see this more as the goddess making an offering to you as you approach.
That's
And
beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, and the pearls. Pearls come from the ocean. I was just really trying to go for a very feminine, watery kind of feel, and the butterfly face was just something that felt like a good thing
Yeah,
to
she's
put there
beautiful.
too. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the spirals on the side, or
Well, let's go to
spirals
the
are
side.
goddess oriented.
Love it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay. And then let's go to this one.
Yes, that's my love of anything Egyptian is kind of reflected there. And she's got kind of the eye of Horus as her eyes. And then all these little Day of the Dead skulls I just had to have in there. So, the Egyptians were very concerned about the afterlife.
Yes.
And so that's kind of reflecting my Egyptian concern, and kind of a Celtic thing too, because Celts were sort of morbidly obsessed with the head and with skulls. So it's kind of there. And then I just chose a hieroglyph on the side for the sun god Horus.
I
So
love
that's that
it.
one. Thank you.
Cool. I mean, you can just, the detail in these is so, the details are so fun. And like behind the feathers, I don't know if you can see this, but behind the feathers is a nice stone, and it's beautiful. Look at the back, the leopard print. I love it.
Thank
I
you.
love it. So, and you show these at art galleries.
do, yes. These were just in a show in Kennett Square at the Center for Vibrant Living, which is a great little place to go. They have
Where
a
is
store
that?
that is in Kennett Square on State Street at State and Willow.
Okay.
in Kennett Square, and they have they also offer all kinds of services like massage and Reiki, and they do yoga there, and they have
nice.
music frequently with their art openings, which is really nice.
Yeah, beautiful. I have to get down there.
Yeah.
And then we have one more.
Yeah, she's kind of more of a fire goddess I was seeing with the red, and these are supposed to be like little flames along the side there. And all of this kind of came, all the skulls, you can see the Day of the Dead obsession there, came about when I was showing at the Center for Vibrant Living. Someone from Kennett Square approached me about taking part in their Day of the Dead festivities and having my little shrines on display. And I said, yes, of course. And then, so I started collecting all these little skulls and things. And then I got our students at Chain involved too, because I said, can I bring my students? And so they all painted little paper mache skulls individually as well.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. They must get so excited because, I mean, God, I mean, how often do you get to do that when you're going to college? You know, it's...
We try to give them opportunities to exhibit their work and, you know, take part in projects that will get them some notice and things, you know, things that will be good for them later on.
Yeah, that's just great. That is so great. What an education for them. Here, let's put that over there. And then I want to, maybe we should I just wanted to talk about her necklace because it's, she makes these things too. So explain this.
Okay,
I love
well,
the face.
oh, thanks. So, yeah, the face and the wings and the hair are all made from polymer clay, which is also known as Sculpey or Fimo, and you can find it at the craft store. And
so you actually made that face.
Yeah, I made the face and the wings, and the hair I used a garlic press actually to press the hair out.
That's so cool.
And then I just collected beads and pulled it all together with rose quartz. So
I love the little faces up here too.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I like things that have faces on them. I guess that's obvious.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes. Moving. Oh no, I said we were going to do posters. Look at this.
Now those are from original paintings that I did.
A little glow highlight. There we go.
Yeah, that looks
Good.
better. Yeah, that's Mother Nature. And she was actually, this woman, my model, was at the Maryland Fairy Festival a couple of years ago, and she was actually portraying Mother Nature, and the children could come and talk to her. And so when I took her picture, I asked her if I could also do her portrait.
Yes.
And so I had to include all the animals with her as well.
I love it.
Thank you.
I'm hoping to get there this
Oh,
year.
good. It's fun.
Yeah. Oh, good.
It's really fun.
I want to bring my granddaughter and a couple friends. My friend was saying, "Well, what do I wear?" I said, "Wings, of course."
Oh, yeah. Anything you want but wings. And she also is from the Maryland. I've obviously been there a lot. She's also from the Maryland Fairy Festival, and she. I don't know if she does it anymore, but she travels around with a guy who is a turtle with a house on his back.
Oh.
And he pops out of the windows of the house with puppets, and she tells the stories, and children just follow her everywhere.
So great.
Yeah, so I had to do her as well.
Oh, I'm definitely getting there this year. Oh, gosh, that's awesome. Will you be there this year?
I don't know. I actually... it's odd, but I don't, I think there's so many fairy artists that I don't always do really super well there, so it depends, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, from year to year, yeah.
Interesting.
So many artists are doing fairies now. There's a fairies magazine.
Right,
And,
yes, there is. There is. Actually, I'm friends with them on Facebook, too.
Okay, oh, me too. Me too, absolutely. Yeah.
So this is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this was done from... I was at the Philadelphia Flower Show a few years ago, and actually last year, and this is all tree roots. They had a display showing what a root system looks like.
Wow.
And, you know, there's a lot of stories about the fairies being in the underworld, and so that's why it's called In the Underworld, because she is in the underworld. And there's also little faces in the background, too, there, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Oh, here's the book that
yeah, that
goes
is
with
for
the
deck, yes.
this deck. Super.
Thanks. Yeah, and it's a good. I personally think it's a good
Pardon
book
my
if you don't know
reach.
tarot. You know, because
Excellent.
it introduces you to my deck, but also talks about the cards as well. Yeah.
She's very extra special.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was listening to a lot of Icelandic music, and
wow.
you know, thinking about shamanic people who've lived in the north.
Yes.
And so that's kind of like her spirit animal, and a raven, you know, for the northern gods, like Odin always had 2 ravens.
I love it. I've always got ravens calling to me. Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and I've recently become obsessed with Game of Thrones, so it all kind of goes back to that too.
Excellent. Excellent. We have one more.
Yeah, that's my.
These.
I think that's my Mayan priestess, which that was also done for. We were doing a Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month exhibit at Cheney, so I had 3 that I did. I had the Mayan priestess, a Mayan queen, and an Aztec princess as well.
Okay. Oh,
that
there we
I
go.
did.
Get the glare off of that.
Yeah.
Nice. So you just bring out all the history.
I love to. I love history. I love mythology. You know, I love stories.
Yeah. And there's so much detail going on with these. So you're available for art exhibits.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So any gallery owners out there, managers, Helena Dominic.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful things.
Thank you.
Yeah. And now let's talk about this new deck.
Yeah, this is from a system known as Lenormand, and
What is that?
It came up, well, it's named for a woman named Mademoiselle Lenormand, and she was the tarot reader for Napoleon's wife, Josephine.
Oh.
And she actually spent time in the Bastille because she predicted that Josephine wouldn't have any children. And Napoleon didn't like that very much. But she was...
So you have to tell people what they want to hear, especially if they're powerful
if they're
rulers.
Napoleon, apparently. Right. Yeah, I prefer regular people.
Yeah.
But she was a celebrity of her day, and she sort of wrote a scandal sheet, actually. So I don't know how much you'd want to go to her for a reading. But
That's so great.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this deck, we don't actually know what deck she used, which is kind of interesting. What happened in the 18th century, this deck was gaining popularity as the esoteric tarot was gaining popularity, and it sort of stayed in Europe, whereas tarot traveled to the United States. So a lot of people who are European are familiar with this deck, and they'll say, oh, well, I've seen this before, I know this deck, this is the deck I know. So it's kind of interesting, you know.
What's the difference?
Well, there's a lot of differences. Tarot has 78 cards. There are 22 cards called the Major Arcana, which are the big cards, like the Sun, for example, and the Hermit and the High Priestess. They have singular names like that. And then there's 56 suited cards. So the Lenormand deck is numbered from 1 to 36. And some of the cards do have like a suit and a number on it, like this one. This is the Garden, which I based on Longwood Gardens.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
It has the 8 of spades, but that doesn't really, whoops.
I got it.
Okay, thanks. Doesn't have much at all to do with the meaning of the card, actually. What happened was in the 18th century, there was a deck that came out called the Book of Hope, that was, or the Game of Hope, and that was a game, and people started using it to tell fortunes, and somehow I think because of the timing, it became associated with Mademoiselle Lenormand, and they thought, well, we'll sell more decks if we call it that.
Right.
So that's how it came to be called that. And then the little numbers on it with the suits, if you want to, the publishers, it was kind of a smart thing on the publisher's part, if you want to sell the deck either for people to play a game of cards or have their fortunes told. It had 2 purposes.
Excellent.
So yeah, and it also, like, tarot tends to be more psychological and more spiritual, whereas Lenormand tends to be much more direct. Like, this is a great deck to ask the question, you know, what's going to happen at work? or am I going to have enough money to buy the car? It gives you very, very straightforward answers. You know, and there are people that say with the tarot, oh, there's no bad cards in the deck. You know, it all depends. Well, there are bad cards in the Lenormand deck. There are cards that you don't want to have in your reading. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But in that way, it is much more straightforward and for some ways easier to read.
So this is a real tell it like it is deck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would this, what would the one that is,
The garden?
Yes.
That's about gatherings and groups of people. And you have to remember, coming out of 18th century France, a lot of this goes back to, well, where would people gather in 18th century France? In a garden party or something.
Beautiful.
Marseille, if you were,
Yes.
you know, one of the upper class, one of the 1% of France.
I must.
So conferences also, parties, just anywhere there's a large gathering of people. And then the other cards tell you what is going on with that.
Okay.
That appear with it. You know, the other thing is these cards read better if you read them in pairs. So you can almost see one as this is a noun, and then this is what describes the noun. So this card, let's say if we pulled this together, this is the tree, which is about family and things that take a long time in inheritance. And so partnered with the garden, which is a large gathering of people, that could even be something like a family reunion or something like that. So, and it's amazing how on target they can be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you do readings?
Yes, I do. I don't do them a lot. I used to do readings for large parties, which I'm not that crazy about anymore. I prefer to read for one-on-one. And also, I have a crazy schedule with Cheney and everything, so it's as my schedule permits, you know.
Wow. Wow. So let's go through another. Let's pick a card.
Okay.
Hopefully I won't
Or
pick a
pick
bad.
two cards.
Two cards.
And actually, here, let me show you kind of
Okay.
how this works.
Oh, good.
Because what we want to do, each deck comes with a man card and a woman card. And nowadays, a lot of artists, me included, have included both two men and two women. So if you, depending on your sexual preference, you know, you can go with that. And you also can pick which woman or man you feel is more suited to you.
Huh.
Yeah, so what we can
Well, that's all fair.
We'll do
That's
a little line reading, and it also works better if you, so do you have a specific question you want to ask about?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I ask it out loud?
Sure.
I'm coming up with a workshop that involves yoga, but it also involves something else, and I'm combining the two.
Okay.
But it's top secret right now, so I'm trying to figure out. I just want to know if it's gonna.
If it's gonna fly. Okay.
Yeah. If it's
Well,
gonna
then
fly.
what we'll do,
well, if it's gonna fly very well.
Choose a woman to represent you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go with her.
Good.
And then shuffle the deck.
Only because I've been holding her for so long. I
Oh,
wanted
right.
somebody new.
Yeah, this was one of my former students posed. Actually, two of my former students posed for me.
So great.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so this is kind of a nice straightforward 5-card reading. So we'll put you in the middle, and then the anchor, that's a very good card to start with, and the tower, which represents and a lot of the times it's what they sound, just what they sound like. So the anchor is a card that, well, what do you think of when you think of anchors? You think of something that's stable,
Yes,
that
well
is going to hang
grounded.
around for a while, well grounded. And then the tower, which there's a tower card in the tarot, but in the Lenormand, it has a completely different meaning.
Uh-oh,
In
okay.
Lenormand, it means corporations, institutions, buildings, offices, things like that.
Okay.
So let's look at that. And then on the other side, we have the coffin, which is about endings. So
Okay.
we'll see what else comes up before we... and then the writer, which is about news
Okay.
and travel. So I would say you're coming from a well-anchored foundation at
Okay.
the beginning, and possibly maybe there's some kind of backing that you have, or a place where you can obviously do
I
what
was
you're gonna
offered,
do. Oh, okay.
just last week, I was instantly offered this facility to use.
Oh,
This
that's
woman
awesome.
was so,
That's great.
yeah.
Now, this indicates, the coffin indicates an ending of some kind. So there may be something that needs to end in order for this new thing to come in.
Okay.
So does that make sense to you?
Not yet, but it
Not
probably
yet.
will.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
that's the funny thing about readings. And as a reader, you always ask your person that you're reading for, does this make sense to you? So,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And then what's this last?
Oh, the writer, that is
Uh-huh.
something coming to you. So this could be, as I said, this could represent that something needs to end in order for something new to begin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
And
there's
so
always
I'm-
corpse pose at the end of yoga.
Sometimes it's actually as literal as that. believe it or
That was
not.
my first thing that came to mind. Oh, all right. Well, we do corpse pose,
pose,
you know,
uh-huh.
at the end of class all the time.
Okay, so maybe after
don't
corpse
know.
pose, you'll get news.
Okay. Oh, I can pretty much always turn something negative into a positive here.
Good.
So. But these are just so beautifully
thank you.
illustrated.
Thank you. And I tried to make things that were important to me, like I had done with the Fellowship of the Fools. So this is actually the tower at Independence Hall, and this is one of the coffins or sarcophagi at West Laurel Cemetery.
Beautiful.
You know.
Beautiful.
So I tried to keep it local,
I
where
love
it made sense to.
Now, have you done an Egyptian deck?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I'm actually working right now. Oh wait, I just remembered.
I love
I
your.
wrote them. Oh, my Eye of Horus. Thank you. Yeah, that was a gift from my husband.
It's beautiful.
I'm working on right now a cat oracle.
Yay.
So, and that's
This is.
actually
I've seen
one
this
of
on
the-
Facebook. I'm
that
so
is
glad you
one of
brought
the-
this.
Oh, thank you. So I'm slowly getting through this again as my crazy schedule permits me to do.
Awesome. And then how will
And then-
this? How are you planning on presenting this?
It'll be a deck, so I'll
Okay.
have cards printed. Let me see. I've got a few others that I brought with me from this deck. That
Here, shall I let me hold this?
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that makes it easier as I.
Ah,
go
I'm so
through my
excited to
stuff.
see this in person. Yes, it looked
Oh.
beautiful on Facebook, but it's
Oh, here
even
we go.
more. It's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Now here's my two. The cat's in the sun.
And the detail. I love it.
So the cat's actually sitting in my bay window in my living room like they always do. And then this one is True Love. You got to have a True Love card.
Absolutely.
And I had friends send me pictures. Right now, these are all my cats, not these guys, but I had friends send me pictures of their cats doing things so that I could get started on.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
thank you.
I love it. So what's your time frame then when you when you start doing something like this? This is a
Yeah.
mighty project.
It kind of, it varies, you know, because on what's going on in my life and how much time I have to do it. So I haven't put a timetable on it.
Okay.
But this deck, the Fellowship of the Fool, had a very real deadline because I was doing it as part of my thesis work for my MFA. So that had a
Okay.
definite end game in sight.
Okay. And then I have to remember this 5-card layout here.
We can take a picture of it later.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good. Thank
yeah.
you.
That's another nice thing with smartphones and readers today. You can take a picture and send it to the person you did a reading for.
Ah, that's great. Yeah, so
Yeah.
she's available for readings and art galleries. Beautiful, beautiful
Thank
work.
you.
And we have about, maybe 45 seconds left.
Oh, okay.
So,
That went fast.
Thank you. I know. It always seems to,
Yeah.
right? And like I spend weeks like getting so nervous and stage fright and all that, and then it just
happens.
It does. There's a magic that goes on here. I love it. So Helaina Dominic, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining me. And yeah, so
Thank you.
I know her information has been flashed up on the screen, but just beautiful, beautiful things. And these shrines, I love
Thank
it.
you.
Here, look at
Thank you.
look at the sides and everything. Of course, wait, get it. There we go.
Oh, okay, there you go.
That's better. That's better. Thank you so much. And I'll just keep. We can just lay this out again.
Oh, yes. Here, this was over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So does your gender card go in the center?
It's what's called a significator. So that
Okay.
means it represents the person that you're doing the reading for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
and different readings have different layouts. You know, like there's a big reading called the Grand Tableau, and that is where you use the entire deck.
Wow.
And then you read based on where the card falls and the other cards that are next to it. What's how much is in the past, how much is in the future.
Wow.
What is weighing you down by what's on top, and what you have under control is under you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long does something like that take?
Oh, that can take, it depends on you and the person that you're reading for.
Yeah.
You know, I've done them, I would say devoting an hour to it is probably good
Yeah.
for that.
I
you
would
know.
say
for
like
something
an
like
hour
this is
or
a good
two.
quickie reading, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely, if you don't mind, I'll take
Oh, yeah,
a picture with my
absolutely.
cell phone,
Absolutely.
which I realized I didn't turn off, so I'm so glad. Anyway, thank you for joining us on Living It Up, Making Life Juicy. I'm Ingrid, and this is Helena Dominic. And yeah.